intuitive thinking scale. I've already recorded a video on my approach to intuitive fitness and intuitive eating, but we can't forget the thoughts that come into our head. When I was in recovery from my eating disorder, it felt like I was constantly living in a painful mind and I couldn't trust my body. People were telling me that I wasn't enough, who I was different, I needed to be a certain way, so I couldn't even trust my own thoughts. And over time, as you're healing, you'll realize that it is all connected. That once we get intuitive with our eating, we have to be more intuitive with our mind and our thoughts, and intuitive with our movement patterns. And our relationships will naturally become more pronounced as we feel safe in our body, safe in our mind, and safe with the way that we eat. It's one thing I have noticed a lot along my healing in the final phases, was that as I became stronger and more trusting with my eating and the way that I thought, I felt stronger being assertive and telling people how I feel and what I need and how I want to be talked to and how I want to be treated. And I think it's important to have tools in place. So I wanted to teach you one of my keys, which is intuitive thinking scale. I just sketched it out. 1 through 4. The best analogy would be if you're watching TV and commercials are playing in the background, you know the TV's on, you kind of hear them, but you're not bringing your attention toward them. 5 through 8 would be a commercial that all of a sudden is talking about that dream car you've always wanted. So now you look up, you're looking at the TV, you're engaged, you're aware. And then 9 through 10 would be, oh my gosh, there was just a hurricane and it went through a town where your friend lives and you're freaking out, you wonder if they're okay, so you're standing right in front of the TV watching every single detail and you're immediately grabbing your phone to take action to call that friend. So that would be examples of intuitive thinking scale. As you get stronger in your recovery and you have tools in place, how to nourish your body, how to move your body to be well, and you're getting stronger in your voice and the definitions of who you are and how you want to be treated and how you want to apply yourself to this world and the type of people that you want to associate with, you'll notice that a lot of your thoughts linger more so in the 1 through 4. Things don't bother you as much anymore because you provide a body that is your sanctuary. Your mind may have thoughts that come through that land in the 5 to 8 section, and then you go, that's interesting. I'm curious about that. And then you kind of think about it, you wonder where it came from, you are engaged and aware of the thought, you kind of talk to the thought, you investigate it, you provide closure for it. And then you drop back down to the 1 through 4. It's just background noise, just the commercials on the TV. Or you may find yourself in a new situation where I like to use the example, I had completed my internship and I was in kind of the first couple years of my professional role in the hospital setting, and I was attending grand rounds with a team that was very prestigious, very intelligent, and while I valued my knowledge and my skill set and thought I was a very confident person, I had a panic attack during the rounds. They were getting ready to ask me my part talking about the patient, and as they were getting closer to my turn to use my voice, I felt my face get flushed, my legs get jello, my body having hot flashes, and I felt like if I don't do something, I am literally going to pass out and fall to the floor right now in front of all these people. And the only way that I calmed myself was I took my eyes off the people that were making me nervous and looked down at my paper and just breathed and soothed myself, told myself, you're okay, you're going to do great, it's okay if you don't do it perfect, But that would be an example where sometimes you're going through life experiences and you don't know that you have that emotion until you're in the situation. And a lot of times, the challenge of recovering from an eating disorder is it is heavily an emotional dysregulation disorder, is how I like to best describe it. So you may be healed and feel strong in a certain phase of your life and feel like, I've got this. And then all of a sudden you transition to more of an adult role or a different phase of life where you might have this very stressful job that requires a lot of you emotionally, physically, mentally. Or you may become a mom and now you're caring for a child, another person's life, and you've never been put in that situation before, and all of a sudden you feel those similar feelings come to the surface. So it's important to know that if you have an intuitive thinking scale that you can use as a reference, no matter what phases of life you're navigating or what storm may come across your path. I almost want to say what storm came across your plate, pun intended, right? Emotions and eating disorder. You can use your reference intuitive thinking scale to bring yourself back to your core, your sanctuary, by grounding yourself and breathing. So I'm going to use a couple more examples. Let's say it's just a Monday morning, which can be emotionally taxing on everyone. You know, we have the little saying, Manic Monday. I don't like to use the word manic for people that may connect with it, but we're all beautiful and unique. So please don't feel sensitive to any words I may use in my videos. So you wake up and you just feel your emotions are racing in your head. Well, on the scale of 1 to 10, they're definitely at that 5 to 8 section, right? And if they're racing really quickly and you start judging them, now they're up at an 8. So one thing that can immediately help is just by saying, I see you, emotions. You're racing. Okay. This isn't really the grounded me where I feel that's my truth, where I'm most powerful, my most helpful to giving back to myself a sanctuary of peace, giving back to my family a nice warm smile, and using my brain to connect in my job or my career that I'm headed to. So what is it? What can I help you with right now? How can I provide you a step down to be more grounded? So instead, I used to wake up and be like, why are you thinking this way? Gosh, I don't want to think about this. And just judging my racing thoughts. Something's wrong with me. It's like my anxiety disorder, I'm always going to have this, or whatever it may be. Don't judge it. Just look at it, observe it. I'm a human. Okay, my mind's racing. My hormones may be a little bit different this morning. Being a human, your emotions are constantly going to be an ebb and a flow. So whatever it is, see it, embrace it, explore it, and use the techniques that you know have worked to bring you back down to the 1 to 4. And sometimes it's going to pop back up again, and you have to, again, go through what is it that you need? I see you. I'm not going to judge you. I think you're beautiful. You're lovely. You're a human. We're all humans. How can I help you right now? So eventually it does drop down to the 1 to the 4. And if it comes back up again and you have time, you keep addressing it until it gets the closure that it needs. Once it gets the closure, it does go away. It may come back 6 months later if something triggers it. It may come back a week later. It may come back at the end of the night, and then you go through the process again. But what you're doing is you're rewiring your brain, neuroplasticity. When you live in a cycle of anxiety or PTSD or depression, you're creating these responses when a thought comes into your body. A neural pathway creates a feeling and a behavior pattern. So once you are aware that you're vulnerable in those areas, then you have to repeat these new patterns and soothe and help yourself with these tools until your neuroplasticity has restructured to one that feels safe. I have the thought, but that's not me anymore. I'm this person now. And why? because I've went through these patterns. I've shown myself that I am okay. When this scary situation happens and I think that I might have that panic attack like I did in the past, I soothe myself and I am okay. So it might take 10 times of being in a really scary situation to prove to yourself that you're not that same person anymore, that you are stronger, that you are safe, that you provide that for yourself. But it does eventually go away and it stays in that 1 to 4 category. Other things that have helped me is if sometimes when I'm hormonal, I call it monkey brain. It just seems like everything is so much more intense. So if something keeps popping up and I'm at work and I know I need to be focused fully on what I'm doing so I don't make an error, so that I provide the best patient care, then I tell myself, let's just put this on a piece of paper, put it in my back pocket, and tonight when I'm sitting in bed and I'm done with my priorities for the day, let's look at this together. I care. I hear what you're saying. And I know it's uncomfortable, but I promise we're going to look at this together later. And we'll address it. And it will feel better. And I'll do my best to give you some closure then. But we can't do that right now because this is very important. And that does usually work. Sometimes you'll have to say it a few times and it'll pop back up like, no, I'm freaked out. I don't feel safe. I need an answer now. I need you to soothe me now. Okay, I hear you. You are important. There's also other things that are important, like holding down a great career, to be able to support my family. Don't you think that's important too? These people's lives that are in our hands, and the other nurses that I collaborate with, and giving them a strong, valuable colleague to get through this challenging day today. Don't you think that's important too? I hear that you feel afraid and it feels overpowering, but the 2 examples I just gave you, don't you think those are really important too? So then it's, kind of setting boundaries. Yeah, oh, you're right, those are important. Okay, I can hold out as long as you come back and you talk to me about this later, right? So it's almost like this little child that's freaked out, and it is. It's that little child that hasn't gotten the tools they need to be an adult, to feel safe and be able to face challenges. So see if it works for you. Be in your body. Just kind of observe your brain for a few days. First thing when you wake up in the morning, what's happening up there? On a scale of 1 to 10, is it 1 to 4? You don't really notice too much. You just go grab your coffee and you're just, that's how my puppy does it. Just waking up slowly and you're kind of connected to your body and you're at peace. Or is it kind of in that 5 to 8? Something's there. It's like, oh my gosh, that meeting I have to go to, and that person, they're such an evil person. I don't understand why they're so insensitive and not supportive. Is that the thought? Why are you thinking that? Okay, don't judge it. Say, okay, we have time this morning to explore this. I'm going to pour a cup of coffee and we can investigate further why this meeting is upsetting me so much and it needs my attention right now. And we can even explore the person at that meeting that has triggered me. Why is that personality triggering to me? So when we're walking, we can dive deeper and see if I've been really hurt by someone with a similar personality, and why is it causing fear for me? What's the worst thing that could happen in that meeting with that person's personality? And if that worst scenario did play out, can I still be okay? And I find a solution to show myself that I will still be okay. So this person doesn't like me, worst case scenario, they report something that's not true, my job is on the line, and I lose my job. Okay, worst case scenario, right? Valid fear, but actually not that valid because I'm a hard worker, I'm good at what I do, I'm honest, I have integrity, I'm valuable, and there's other opportunities that someone would want to bring me onto their team. There's plenty of colleagues that have high integrity, amazing at what they do, that can be references to say she's amazing. It'd be a blessing for you to have her as a part of your team. So there, I worked through the core root of that emotion and gave it some closure, and now it's back down to a 1 to 4.